Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Blissed? Dr. Shealy, are you blissed?
No. It has been a week of absolute chaos, thanks to American Airlines, among others.
So what happened?
Well, in Chicago, the crew wasn't there, so they postponed the plane. Then the plane had no fuel, so they postponed the plane. Then a storm came, and 3 hours later, they decided to cancel the flight and blame it on the storm, not their own crap. So I spent the night at $562 at the airport, unable to sleep. They rebooked me on in a United for the next morning. It was 3 hours late because the crew wasn't there, and my bag never came, and I've spent 3 hours trying to get my bag, and among other things, first of all, Chicago is the worst airport in the world, and secondly, American Airlines may be the worst in the world. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, the play goes on.
Wow. Well, I remember landing back in the 80s, and the captain said, those fire trucks that you see, it's okay. It's okay. Our wheels are on fire. Brake fluid is, hydraulic fluid is leaking, and they're going to put it out, and everything's going to be okay. Oh, geez. I had an experience similar to that. I spent an entire day flying and getting on a bus, and I never got where I was intending to go, and all the meals were all the flights were non-meal flights. And I've decided that, I really don't want to fly. I don't want to be at the mercy of being in this aluminum tube at the mercy of whoever is in charge and, telling us to sit down, can't get up, can't use the restroom. I don't like it. I flat out don't like it. So I'm glad you're home. I'm glad you're home.
Well, I am too. But unfortunately, I'm leaving tomorrow for Albuquerque on American Airlines. So, oh well, life is filled with challenges, and today the world is filled with challenges. The biggest one of which seems to be the bitch from hell.
Yeah. I was talking to our engineer about that this morning, just before the broadcast, and I mentioned the term Arkancide, which is a combination of the word Arkansas and suicide, and there are, last check, over 80 people dead that surrounded the Clintons, and how dangerous it would be to be a friend of the Clintons because so many people are dead. And what I mentioned was, do you think all of those are related to or could be related to Bill Clinton? How many of those might be related to Hillary Clinton? All of these Arkancides.
After all, Foster, if I remember correctly, Foster was related to her.
That's correct, Vince Foster.
Yeah, the clear-cut murder.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And there are others, people who have been run over by a train. There's so many of these. I think I'll do a post. I'll link to some of these Arkancides about the surrounding the Clintons. Mysterious deaths. But Dr. Shealy, I had a question. I was thinking this morning about murder, and here it goes. Let's see. Remember the Tuskegee syphilis experiments from 1932 to 1972? You remember some of that? Okay. Well, let me just read this because it bothers me. And it says, this is from Wikipedia. The Tuskegee study of untreated syphilis in the Negro male, also known as the Tuskegee syphilis study or the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, was an infamous clinical study conducted between 1932 and 1972 by the U.S. Public Health Service, studying the natural progression of untreated syphilis in rural African American men in Alabama under the guise of receiving free health care from the United States government. It goes on to say, the Public Health Service started working on this study in 1932 during the Herbert Hoover administration in collaboration with Tuskegee University, a historically black college in Alabama. Investigators enrolled in the study a total of 600 impoverished African American sharecroppers from Macon County, Alabama. Of these men, 399 had previously contracted syphilis before the study began, and 201 did not have the disease. The men were given free medical care, meals, and free burial insurance for participating in the study. After funding for the treatment was lost, the study was continued without informing the men that they would never be treated. None of the infected men were ever told they had the disease, and none were treated with penicillin even after the antibiotic became proven for the treatment of syphilis. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the men were told that they were being treated for bad blood, a local term for various illnesses that include syphilis, anemia, and fatigue. So, Dr. Shealy, here's my question. When this study was conducted, would it be safe to say that these people were murdered because they believed that they were being treated and they were neglected? They were just watched to see the progression of syphilis?
You're absolutely right. And, of course, this just is one evidence of my basic premise. All government is evil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So here we have under the guise of, free healthcare, free food, and free burial insurance. We have these people believing that they are being treated. And there's an ethical dilemma in this because they've been lied to by the government. They've been lied to by the doctors. They've been lied to by everyone who was involved in this study. Every single one of them was lying to them, either covertly or overtly or through omission, right? They were being lied to. And they can't get their lives back. Once they're dead, they're dead. There's no bringing them back, at least not now. And I think it's an absolute outrage. And so, since we've discussed this has been bothering me for a very, very, very long time, Dr. Shealy. I'm talking decades. And that is when we go to war, and like the Vietnam conflict. It wasn't even a war, it was a conflict. So we were in this conflict, and let's say we were in the Army. We were told, okay, those guys are bad people. Go kill them. So we were given rifles and mortars and, all kinds of weapons of war, napalm, everything you could think of, that hand grenades, bazookas, aircraft with machine guns. Every way you could think of killing a person, we pretty much deployed, except for nuclear weapons. We deployed biological weapons, chemical weapons. Dr. Shealy, when we do that, when we engage in this kind of activity, would you consider that murder as well? Because I do.
Of course. Vince, you may be too young to remember the details of that, but it was my first major awareness of how evil government is. I was, from the very beginning, a peacenik. I would have gone to Canada to avoid being drafted. I believe I would too. This is the most evil thing I didn't know about a lot of other things at that time. I thought it was the most evil thing a government ever done to invade Vietnam. At any rate, and so I that's when I really, for the rest of my life, have been a peacenik. I think we have never done anything in war since World War II that is morally correct.
And there are, Dr. Shealy, I was at a college graduation ceremony months ago, and I felt so out of place. And I'll tell you why. And I'm sure a lot of people looked at me. I was in the audience there, and they had all these specialties graduating, like technical studies, electronic technical studies, and the arts, and some sciences and history majors and English majors and so forth. And they were all brought up one specific discipline at a time, and they were they'd shake the hands of those on stage, and they were congratulated, and they received what appeared to be their degree. And they had a special portion of the graduation ceremony for those who were in the military program. And they got round after round after round of applause for, being heroes. And I was the only guy not clapping. I was the only guy in the entire gymnasium not clapping for these men who were being trained to be killers, because I thought it was immoral. And people looked at me like, "What's with you? These are our heroes. These are young men who are going to defend our country. From what? To defend our country from what?" I thought that it was immoral what we were doing. And I felt so out of place, Dr. Shealy, but I refused to give in. And then when it was time to stand up and put our hands over our heart for the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem, I couldn't do that either, because I thought how far we've fallen, and I can't figure out, for the life of me right now, to this moment, I can't figure out whether I should or shouldn't, because I don't know if I'm pledging allegiance to this regime that is evil, or whether I'm pledging allegiance to the country that we used to have, or what. I don't know. I really don't know. When we come back, can you tell me your thoughts on this? Because it really bothers me. I know it's not a medical question, but it's a moral question. Dr. Shealy and I'll be right back. NormShealy.com. NormShealy.com. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA-certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our shower filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm Principal Office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
My name is Don Wiskin, and at 42 years old, I suffered a massive heart attack, lost 35% of my heart to damaged tissue, and was supposed to spend the rest of my life on disability. What did I do? I took Extendivite, a garlic and cayenne mix of 7 herbs which rebuilt my heart and gave me back my life. For over 17 years now, I have made this formula available to you so you don't have to suffer the same thing I did. Clean your blocked arteries and strengthen your heart and boost your natural immune system. I'm 60 years old now and I still work every day. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Class, Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, medical doctor, brain surgeon, surgeon of the year, broadcaster for over a couple decades, author of well over 30 books. And I asked Dr. Shealy about this moral dilemma that I seem to have about the Pledge of Allegiance, saluting the flag and hand over the heart during the national anthem. Dr. Shealy, do you have any thoughts on that? Have I lost my mind, or?
No, you're honest. Now, Vince, we've talked about this last week, the lack of personal responsibility in this country. Mm-hmm. I think it is at an all-time low or high, depending on what you want to call it. In other words, most people are not thinking about things like this. Our government is, at virtually every level that I know of, totally evil. I wouldn't trust them to tell me the sun is shining.
No, I agree with that. I don't trust them to tell me the weather.
Well, that's
why?
That is an absolute average government service.
Yeah, well, as it may seem like I'm kidding, but I'm not, Dr. Shealy. I want to make sure our class understands that as a farmer, I have to depend on knowing what the weather's going to do for a couple days during hay season, because hay season isn't all year, and we actually have to make it work every time, or we could lose the farm, literally. So I don't even trust the weather. The government to tell me what the weather's going to be. I actually go outside and look out and use my own senses. I look at what some of the commercial weather reports say, but I make up my own decision because they're wrong so often. They really are. Dr. Shealy, I was thinking about the way it used to be, and I don't know if I'm stuck in this rut or what, but I was thinking about when I was growing up. Products at the supermarket and the grocery store used to come in glass. So, for example, if you bought a jar of mayonnaise, it was in glass. If you bought milk, it was in a glass bottle. If you bought ketchup, it was in a glass bottle. Mustard came in a glass jar. Vinegar was in a gallon jug if you wanted to buy it, or a quart, but it was made out of in a glass container. And now I can't think of too many items except maybe small volume specialty items that come in glass now. Most everything, ketchup, milk, vinegar, mayonnaise, salad dressing, all those things that used to come in glass, now almost completely, you have no choice. It's going to be in a plastic container. And I'm wondering, Dr. Shealy, do you think, and they said it was, this is great because it's lighter. It's lighter weight than that heavy, bulky, fragile glass jar used to be, or that glass bottle. Do you think that one thing has contributed to us becoming sicker? Not completely, not only, but do you think that just that one change from glass to plastic has made us sicker?
Oh, yes. It's one of multiple petroestrogen and other poisons that the government has allowed and encouraged to be introduced. So it's just part of the whole. It is supported by your blank government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so many, Dr. Shealy, when you think of the National Institutes of Health, the U.S. Public Health Service, you think, well, those guys are on our side. The Food and Drug Administration, the USDA.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, I don't believe they are. I think they are the enemy. I really do. But many people believe that they are out to protect us. And as we explained at the top of this hour, the Tuskegee medical experiment was murder, literally murder. And then we have, the post of spraying radioactive materials in St. Louis to see what the effects of this radiation would be on the general public. And that, happened many, many decades ago. But still, it was with the blessing of our government. So
don't forget, our government right now is ignoring the underground fire that's very close to a nuclear waste dump outside St. Louis.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We haven't talked about
dirt into that fire to stop it, but they're not.
Mm-hmm. They absolutely could. And they could have prevented it. They could have prevented it by not putting that deadly radioactive waste in the ground in the first place, and right next to a landfill which has combustible materials and methane gas. What were they thinking? And you can't say that they're too stupid to know that. They were smart enough to know that, but I believe they ignored the facts, and I think they should be tried, put in prison forever, till death do us part.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. And now introducing trauma pads. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water filter for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline.
If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 pain relief hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 pain hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Is with us, and Gene in Missouri, please stand by. We'll be with you in just a second. I just wanted to finish up this discussion with Dr. Shealy since he mentioned it. Class, we haven't talked about this for a couple months, but I just posted on the website, usaprepares.com, that there's a landfill fire that threatens a nuclear waste site just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And the article is by npr.org. npr.org. And it says, imagine you're a parent and that out of the blue, you get a letter from your child's school telling you not to worry, that they're ready to evacuate or shelter in place if an underground fire at a nearby landfill reaches radioactive waste on the same property. That's pretty much what happened recently in a suburb of St. Louis. It goes on to say, landfill fires are pretty common, but this one's different. It's only about 1,000 feet away from nearly 9,000 tons of nuclear waste, and there's no barrier in between. Hundreds of people packed a recent community meeting about landfills located in Bridgeton, Missouri. And it goes on that there is no solution that the government has found. And there's no question that if this radioactive waste catches on fire as a result of the fire that's burning underground from the landfill right adjacent to it, less than 1,000 feet away, that there will be some radiation going into the air. No question about it. Now, some people, without question, will be downwind from this. No question. There's no way that you cannot be downwind from this. So we just don't know exactly where downwind is. Depends on which way the wind's blowing, but probably to the east. Those people will be downwind from this. Dr. Shealy is, yes.
it's not a question of just downwind or upwind or crosswind. If that big a nuclear dump goes, it could affect a third of the nation. One third minimum. That includes us.
Yes, it does. And there's no place to go. I mean, where do you go? Where do you go? There are radioactive dumps in almost every state at the nuclear reactors. Every state that has nuclear reactors has radioactive materials on site. And if there's a meltdown, well, we saw what happened in Fukushima, 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl. They're even though they say it's okay, don't worry, it's only steam. Later on, we find out that they lied to us like they always do. They always lie to us. They don't know how to tell the truth. I'm talking about the government. Dr. Shealy, what do we do? Is there anything that you suggest? Should this radioactivity go airborne?
Well, there's very little we could do. I mean, the best you could do is have your iodine, heavy doses of it, so you can block your thyroid from taking it up. But there's nothing else we could do. The only thing I think we should do is vote out 100% of everybody in every national post every time there's an election. No person should ever be allowed ever to run for any national office once they've had one.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and I would include promotions. So if they're at a lower level and they want to rise up and become even more dangerous as politicians, they should be banned from doing that. You get one shot, and never reelect anyone. Dr. Shealy, we have Gene in Missouri. Gene, welcome.
Hello. I have a question for Dr. Shealy. I went to the dentist a few days ago, and he showed me photos of my teeth my front teeth with grooves in them. So I told him, well, I'm going to try to figure this out on my own as to what might have caused this. We spoke about some of these things. And I found an article on the internet called "It's Not Just Stress," because I determined that I was chewing on my lips, my lower lip. And it said that this could be caused by medications, by ADHD, by parasites, and it had a lot of other things, and of course, stress. So I guess my first question to you is there any way to diagnose what this chewing might have been caused by? It's been probably gone on for a while, for a year or two.
Well, I don't know a single way of finding out. But how old are you?
65.
Well, statistically speaking, I will give you 100% chance that your DHEA, dehydroepiandrosterone, is low. That is a reflection of chronic stress that you've not dealt with. And the only lab that is accurate is Nichols, Nichols, in Capistrano, California. I would get a DHEA test if it is below. On the Nichols lab test, if it is below 600 nanograms per deciliter, you could say that everything in your life is going to pot only because of excess stress, whatever it may be. The best thing you could do is get into a major stress reduction program and rebuild your DHEA. There are 4 natural techniques for rebuilding your DHEA. Because you can't do 1,000 different tests to find out whether you've got parasites and everything else.
So, okay, if there's stress there, I guess it could be subconscious because I'm not conscious of any stress other than
according to everything I know from dentists, a lot of people do this during their sleep, and so they're not conscious of it.
Oh, I see. And I guess I'd have to put a camera on my face for the entire night.
or an electromyographic measurement of muscle tension, yeah.
So where can I get this DHEA test? Can I get it at a lab,
Go to any lab test now.
Oh, okay.
Any lab test now. You can order the test yourself, but insist that they get it through Nichols.
Oh, through Nichols. All right. Well, I thank you so much. I will try that. And then can you improve your DHEA by just taking DHEA, or is there something?
Not a good idea. It increases your risk of prostate cancer. You want There are 4 natural ways. Go to my website and look up DHEA package or something like that, and you'll find the way to do it.
Very good. Well, I do appreciate that. Vince, can I make a comment about the sin that you were talking about with the killing of the military, killing people?
Sure.
Okay, this is just a quick thing. About a few months ago, I asked a preacher, is it a sin for people to go into the military and just go and kill innocent people? Because thou shalt not murder is a commandment. And he read the thing to the entire church. Actually, he really didn't even have an answer. And this was a well-known evangelist. So I just have to let you know that it's probably a moral dilemma, even by the church people, if you can even get them to consider it. So just thought I'd add that.
I have to say that a person who does it innocently with, believing that they are serving their country has not committed a sin. They are following, what they believe to be honesty. And so the ultimate downwind pimps, if you will, are not as responsible as a master miner.
Dr. Shealy, that is brilliant, because I totally agree with you on that. I have a belief, and this is not everybody else's beliefs, I have a belief that a sin is only a sin when you know that it is. Now, I know there's the original sin and all that, and it's another day. But I agree with you totally, and I appreciate that comment. And thanks for the information on DHEA.
Thank you.
Gene, do you have 1 second?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I was watching a video. It was lent to me. It's called Eye in the Sky. And it's about some alleged terrorists in Kenya. And what we have is the United States and its allies have these ways of viewing people. They have the Predator drone, and they have Hellfire missiles on the Predator. And they have these little bugs that can fly around, and they have little cameras in them so that they can fly inside an open window, and they can position this camera in this bug. I would think it'd be a large bug, like the size of a large beetle, for example. Then they have other spy devices like birds that they look like birds, they fly like birds, but they have cameras in them so they can, sit on a telephone pole and kind of look down. Well, here's the dilemma. They believe that in this house was this terrorist who was going to use explosives to kill people. But outside the house were some innocents, just people in the village. And they had this Hellfire missile, and they were going to launch this Hellfire missile to take out this alleged suicide bomber, if you will. And the question is, do we use this Hellfire missile and take out this alleged bad guy and have the collateral damage, which really means kill other innocent people, have nothing to do with anything, just the villagers, or not? And, I looked at this as murder, absolute murder. We weren't trying these people. We weren't capturing them. We weren't bringing them to a court to let them defend themselves. What we were going to do is we were going to unilaterally kill them. And not only them, we were going to kill anyone else who happened to be in the blast radius of this Hellfire missile. And I think about this as, how do we get to this point where some guy or two people in a remote station, a continent or two away, are able to sit there and with a joystick and a trigger on the joystick, like it's a game, be able to launch a laser-guided missile and blow people up. And that, to me, is something really, really wrong with this. And that's the kind of thing that we're doing. So that's where some of this
drone killings.
Right. And there are a lot of people who have been killed who had nothing to do with anything. They just happened to be in the blast radius, or they happened to be at the wrong place at the time of the blast. And so this is a moral dilemma. And to me, it's murder. It's absolute murder.
It's a moral dilemma with you, but it apparently is not with most of the people I speak to about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not pulling the trigger. I'm not going to kill someone who has nothing to do with anything. I'm not going to do it. Now, someone points a gun at me. That's a different story. Gene, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Dr. Shealy and I'll be right back.
Exercise and deep breathing gets oxygen into the blood but does not guarantee you get oxygen into your 372 trillion cells. Largely, the essential fatty acids, alpha-linolenic and linoleic acids, control oxygen transfer from the blood to the cells. These essential fatty acids are called essential because they must be obtained from the diet on a regular basis. Many people are aware of the value of supplementing with flax or hemp seed oil. What most people don't know is that due to current methods of pressing, all these oils are significantly damaged and oxidized by the time you consume them. What everyone needs to know is that there are new seed oils on the market that are pressed in a manner that protects the oils from damage and oxidation. Even athletes get cancer, which means that despite their abundant oxygen uptake into the blood, the transfer of oxygen into the cells is not occurring. I invite you to try the Andreas seed oils and see for yourself what a difference you can feel in energy, reduction of appetite, and well-being. Call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body Brain and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-952-2797.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs, and it eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto! Your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-952-2797. That's 1-800-952-2797.
Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viva Water Pump Kit from Viva Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viva Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99. Filter not included. Get your Viva Water Pump Kit at viba-odp.com from Viva Outdoor Products.
Class, Dr. Shealy's with us, and if you'd like to get the same newsletter that I receive multiple times per week, you can go to normshealy.com. That's Norm, as in Norman, Shealy, SHEALY.com, and you can sign up for the same free newsletter that I get multiple times per week. Dr. Shealy, eating out versus eating at home. You know, I'm getting more and more concerned about people in restaurants, how they handle the food that they serve. They're concerned, in my opinion, with how food tastes compared to how good the food is for you. I've never had a waitress in the last 10 years say to me, "So what do you think of that nutrition, Vinny? What do you think?" It's always, how does it taste? What do you think about eating out versus eating at home? I'm trying, Dr. Shealy, to not eat out if I can help it at all. Literally,
I often say I would rather cook for 30 people than go out to eat.
And I was in Springfield.
Home, I do my best never to go out. And when I travel, you don't have an awful big choice. I often take with me mixed nuts, which I use as 1 or 2 meals a day with a fruit drink. And I mean a real fruit juice, not a so-called fruit drink. Because that's a good meal, and it's as good as you could get on the road.
Now, when you talk about nuts, would that include like salted peanuts? Would that be okay, or is that
well?
Not
I do.
okay?
Basically, they are a legume, but they're still a good quality protein.
Okay, and I remember
for true mixed nuts.
I remember you saying that, you know, if you're starving and there's a McDonald's nearby, keep going.
I would prefer to starve.
Yeah. And so I was in Springfield this week with Mrs. Finelli, and you know, we were both really, really hungry. And we said, it's okay. It's just another hour to get home. Let's eat at home. And it wasn't a question of money, although money is important. It wasn't, you know, the question that we didn't have it. We had enough to go out to eat, but we chose not to. We chose to go home and pick some tomatoes out of our garden and make a tomato and basil salad with some apple cider vinegar with mother and some extra virgin olive oil. And that worked for us. And by the way, Dr. Shealy, this time of the year when we have tomatoes from our garden, I eat a lot of tomatoes. And I believe that my health improves as I eat tomatoes. Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I try to avoid eating out now at all costs. And we'll bring water with us.
Rather than eat out. I mean, basically, I think it's healthier to miss a meal. In fact, there's good evidence that for those people who are overweight, skipping one meal every day is one of the best ways to lose weight.
Okay, so class, that probably applies to some of us. And, you know, I don't mind missing a meal. And Dr. Shealy, what I do is I will bring a container of ProPure water with me, you know, filtered water, so that we have enough water for everybody in the vehicle for all day. You know, we always have that. But, you know, if we get thirsty, we don't have to go to one of those Stop and Robs and get one of those fountain soft drinks, you know, with carbonation and hydrofluoric acid or whatever else it may have in it, as well as the other chemicals. We don't do that. And I think we're better off for not drinking those sugary, syrupy, colored drinks with the chemicals. When we come back, Dr. Shealy, I'd like to discuss chocolate as a laxative. Chocolate as a laxative. When we come back. And then antibiotics, the dangers. And then vinegar as a medicine to fend off diseases. And then medical experiments. Dr. Shealy's with us. I'm Vin Finelli. This is USA Prepares. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Hour number 2 of USA Prepares with Dr. Norman Shealy. And at the top of the hour, you heard that the charges are dropped against the remaining 3 Baltimore police officers accused in the arrest and death of Freddie Gray, a 25-year-old man who was arrested, handcuffed, thrown in the back of a police van, driven around town. He rolled around, no way to stop his movement, ended up with a broken neck, and he died. So, but the good news is all of the people involved in the killing of Freddie Gray, all of the government people, none of them have faced any penalties. They're all let free. They're all let free, every single one of them. So, killing with impunity, yes, your government can do that at the hands of a joystick and a drone. With Hellfire missiles, they can do it by throwing anyone in the back of a police van and riding you around, or they can take you to jail and take you downstairs where you have your hands handcuffed behind your back and you trip and fall down the stairs and you get all banged up, and it's all your fault. It's all your fault for falling when they trip you. And we've heard stories that the government employees do these kinds of things. It's an absolute outrage. It's an absolute outrage. But you heard that at the top of the hour news that all the cops involved, they were either there was either a mistrial or the charges were dropped. But nobody has faced any penalties. Dr. Shealy, chocolate. Do you have a comment on that, Dr. Shealy?
Well, it depends. You know, chocolate is a broad category. Everything from cocoa nibs, which is the seeds from which cocoa is made, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In general, 99% of all chocolate sold in the world is really toxic, primarily because it's filled with sugar.
Yes.
But dark chocolate, 70% or more, and eating only 1 ounce a day is actually good for you.
Okay. And here's where I was going with that. Dr. Shealy, many people have surgery, and as a result of the surgery, they're put on opiates, narcotics, and then that messes up their digestive system, and then they can't have a bowel movement for day after day after day after day, and that's a serious problem in itself. And then I was wondering what your thoughts were on using chocolate, just chocolate, as a laxative in those situations. Does that make sense, or is it the wrong direction?
Well, I don't know, because I've eaten, before I learned about it, I've eaten as much as 3 and 4 ounces of chocolate and never had the problem. So I guess for some people, any food can be a laxative. Guts are remarkably individual. I would say the working of your intestines is as unique as your fingerprints and your mind.
Fascinating.
And so each of us has to figure out for ourselves what works.
Okay. So as the gut goes, doesn't the rest of us go? For example, if we don't have good digestive health, how can we be healthy, in all other respects? Is that true?
Well, that's true. The gut really does determine what you are able to absorb and get into your body and rebuild into your body, et cetera, et cetera. Now, looking up the fact of chocolate as a laxative, I found that the cocoa pod husks are a waste product, and they are a laxative, but I don't find that for the average person, chocolate is a laxative, but it can be, as anything can. Just for some people, water can act as a laxative.
Okay. And well, that was another question I had for you, Dr. Shealy. On my list here is water. How much water should a person drink? Is there a way of figuring it out? I know we've talked about that in the past. And then the next question is, can you drink so much water that it's actually dangerous to drink that much water?
Well, the last question is easy. Yes, indeed, you can. That's going to be an individual thing, too, but drinking more than twice the recommended amount could begin to be toxic for some people. In general, take your weight in pounds. So you weigh 150 pounds, you need half of that in ounces of water. So 75 ounces for a 100-pound person. Now, that's water, and it's not city water.
Yeah, that would be water without fluoride. That would be water without chlorine.
Right.
Okay, so we should drink 1/2 of our weight in ounces. So if we weigh 150 pounds, then divide that in half and you get 75 and just add ounces to that. So a 150-pound person should consume 75 ounces of water per day.
That is ideal, and coffee and tea does not count.
Okay. So is it possible if a person is a coffee drinker and drinks, let's say, an enormous amount of coffee, 10 cups per day, they should still drink that, and they weigh 150 pounds, that person should still drink another 75 ounces of water. Is that correct?
That is correct, because caffeine is a diuretic. That is, caffeine increases water output. So if you're taking 8 ounces of coffee, you're likely to put out 9 ounces of water.
Okay. And let's get, I guess we have to be somewhat graphic. The color of urine, Dr. Shealy, what does that tell us?
Well, it tells you two things. First of all, how concentrated it is. In other words, the less water you drink, the more yellow your urine is going to be, no matter what you eat or drink. Secondly, it is dependent to a large extent upon whether or not you're taking supplements. For instance, if you take B complex itself, that makes your urine more yellow.
Okay. I've been in the hospital, Dr. Shealy, where I've seen patients and they have these urine bags that are connected to catheters, and I've seen some of them that look almost orange. The urine looks not yellow, not light yellow, not clear, cloudy and orange. Is that a dangerous kind of a situation?
Yeah, they're very concentrated. They are dehydrated, or they're lacking in water.
Okay. There you go. We talked about eating out versus eating at home last hour, and we talked about how much water to drink and How about vinegar as a medicine to fend off diseases? And what I'm talking about is apple cider vinegar with mother. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Shealy?
Well, the evidence is pretty good that up to a tablespoon or two of apple cider vinegar is good. Now, there's no study that I know of using what's called distilled vinegar, the white vinegar.
Right.
So it has to be the apple cider vinegar.
Well, we use distilled vinegar here at the house, and we use it to clean the shower. Literally.
Clean your body.
Yeah, we use it to clean the shower. Literally, we have a spray bottle, and we'll spray it as a preventative for mold, and it works great. It really does. Okay. Now, I guess there's a difference between the apple cider vinegar and wine vinegar, grape vinegar.
Yes. Again, I don't know whether it's bad or as good, because I know of no scientific study on the use of wine vinegar.
Okay, and do we know why the mother is important to, that would be that cloudy sediment at the bottom of apple cider vinegar? Do we know why that's important, or is that a mystery?
Well, I suspect it includes some of the probiotics that vinegar itself help you to grow. Okay.
And since you mentioned probiotics, Dr. Shealy, we have this English Mastiff, and this dog slobbers a lot. And when he drinks out of his very large water bowl, and he drinks a lot of water, I mean, it's actually a nuisance how much we have to change his water bowl every day. So it gets thick. So after he has one drink, there's this thick saliva that's in the water bowl. And I use that to water our plants that we like tomato plants in buckets. And we have some citrus trees in buckets. And I water them, and they seem to be doing great. Is that something that you still recommend that we do? Use that slobber and that saliva from our dogs to assist in the bacterial growth within the pots for food plants.
Indeed, I agree.
Okay. So, class,
I just looked up the mother vinegar, the cloudy stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's a mixture of bacteria produced from cellulose and yeast. So I was right. Mm-hmm. It would include some probiotics.
Well, that sounds great. And I take about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar daily, and I like it. And well, I could mix it with water, but I just take it plain, and then I chase it with some water. Do you think that's okay for my throat and so forth? Taking apple cider vinegar with mother, just plain?
Oh, yeah. I think that's probably, a juice of one lemon is supposed to be good for you overall also. I suspect the apple cider vinegar would be about equal in benefit to lemon juice.
Okay. Dr. Shealy, when you were in training, if you will, in medical school, did you know of experimentation that was done on people without their knowledge? I know we talked about this in the past, but does that happen, do you think, to people where...
It not only happens, I know it happens. We've discussed my big expose at Massachusetts General Hospital, where the second man in the Department of Neurosurgery was carrying out 19 undocumented, totally immoral, unethical research projects, which I took to the bishop of the Episcopal Diocese and stopped $3 million worth of unethical research.
And can we talk about that when we come back? Do you think these things are still continuing? Not exactly the same studies, the same research, but do you think we're experimenting on people with, chemicals, radiation, surgery, treatments of all kinds, and people think they're being treated, and actually they're subjects? Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who suffer from digestive issues like heartburn, acid reflux, IBS, and constipation? Probimune is your answer. Probimune is a brand new probiotic that has been scientifically proven to deliver high quantities of viable good bacteria to your gut to boost your digestive system and improve your overall health. This unique, powerful blend of probiotic strains, coupled with our industry-leading proprietary fermentation process, delivers a maximized bacterial colonization to the gut that no other probiotic can match. Start improving your health today. Visit younghealth.com or call 800-396-9024. Use coupon code DIGEST to receive 15% off first-time orders. Maintaining digestive health is crucial to the body's overall well-being. Don't suffer from negative effects of poor digestion any longer. Order today. younghealth.com or call 800-396-9024.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA-certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, normshealy.com, and if you'd like to peruse his website, sign up for his free newsletter, purchase his books or medical supplies or vitamins, normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. Dr. Shealy and I have been broadcasting for about 5 years together, and Dr. Shealy took me under his wing, and he noticed that my knees were knocking when I was in the studio at a local radio station in Springfield, Missouri, and he took me under his wing and helped me overcome that knee knocking. And by the way, you don't hear it today. and you haven't heard my knees knocking for years. But Dr. Shealy, experimentation, we talked about this before, and my question is, do you think it still continues, maybe not noticed, or is it something that there are grants that are being made for medical experimentation today?
Well, obviously, you have no way knowing until somebody blows a whistle. But people being people, I estimate that about 15% of people are what I'd call sloppy at best, or consciously wrong and evil in what they undertake. That's a pretty big percentage, but it's just the way life is. The insurance adjuster for the state of Pennsylvania many years ago published that he thought 50% of physicians were crooked. And so I have to assume that goes to the population at large. They will do things that they think they can get by with. On the other hand, I honestly believe that the vast majority of physicians and scientists do what they believe to be honest.
Okay, now when you said 50, was that 50 or 15%?
15.
Okay, 15%. Okay, very good. So do you think it happens where maybe a medical professional might say, I don't know if this is going to work. I have no clue what to do. Let's try this. And maybe it would be a spur of the moment kind of experiment. Do you think that might be some of what's going on, Dr. Shealy? Like, I don't know what to do.
That would be rare, because in general, you do need to get institutional review board for most experiments.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And theoretically, that includes a lawyer and a minister and all kinds of people who, read the protocol and go through it. Now, you don't have to, that's up to the judgment of the individual, depending upon all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dr. Shealy, ovarian cysts. Can you tell us what your thoughts are? What is an ovarian cyst? What causes it, and how is it treated typically? Any thoughts on that?
Well, basically, any organ, including skin, can produce cysts. So it's something that went wrong with the electrical and or the chemistry aspect of that particular organ. In the ovary, of course, women, when they start menstruating every month until they go through menopause, have eggs that get ready to, come out, waiting to be fertilized. They are actually moved into the uterus. Sometimes, as that egg is developing, it doesn't, something goes wrong and it just expands and develops increasing fluid around it inside the ovary itself. Most of the time, that is probably a disturbance between the amount of estrogen and the amount of progesterone. And the treatment of choice for most women is to use natural progesterone cream starting on the 10th day of the cycle until the beginning of the next cycle, or the 28th day, stopping it then until the 10th day again. And it can take up to 6 months to cure such a thing, but compared to surgery, laparoscopic or otherwise, I would say I'd always want to try progesterone first.
Okay. Have you heard of the use of iodine in the treatment of a cyst?
I have not heard of the use of iodine in the treatment of an ovarian cyst. On the other hand, the relationship between the ovaries and the production of estrogen and progesterone, and we'll finish after the break.
There we go. Dr. Shealy's with us, and we've got George on hold. George is in Mississippi. George will be with you right after Dr. Shealy concludes his comments and information about ovarian cysts and use of iodine. We'll be right back.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPURUSA.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision and independence to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. It's the leading cause of blindness in adults 55 and older. Some of us are at greater risk for AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD. If left untreated, it can lead to blindness. The good news? With early detection, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that can reduce or even reverse some vision loss. Learning that you have AMD can be scary, but there's hope and help. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is researching and developing treatments and cures for AMD. To get your free AMD information packet, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. Join the fight against AMD because together there is a cure in sight.
This is a warning to all household pests, to all cockroaches, spiders, ants, rodents, and other pests. If you've just made yourself at home in someone else's home, you'd better hope the owners never hear about Terminix, because Terminix has the know-how and the means to do whatever it takes to remove you from that home. Terminix has over 85 years of experience exterminating invaders like you. And right now, they're making it easier than ever for homes to be protected by offering a free pest estimate to every caller at 1-800-676-1468. Cockroaches, spiders, ants, rodents, and other pests. This is your eviction notice. With one call, Terminix will remove you from the home you've invaded. If you think you can simply come back later, think again. Terminix will protect that home with a 100% satisfaction money-back guarantee, so you can never return. Warning, homeowners are calling Terminix right now for a free pest estimate at 1-800-676-1468. 1-800-676-1468.
Limitations apply. See plan for details.
And how to treat them and so forth. And then, George, you're up. Dr. Shealy?
Well, the ovary and the thyroid gland are, as all endocrine glands, are highly interrelated. Since 80% of Americans are deficient in iodine, that can affect everything in your body. So the relationship between the iodine and the cyst could be, if you've got low thyroid, you're going to be more prone to ovarian cyst, that kind of thing.
Okay. And Dr. Shealy, we talked about this before. Is this still an acceptable treatment where you take some triiodine that's available at a veterinarian supply and just take a Q-tip and paint a postage stamp size area on your arm as a way of taking iodine into your system? Is that still acceptable, or is that not?
Well, it's acceptable. It's a pill. I mean, I think it's more trouble to paint iodine on your skin every day than to take a capsule or tablet.
Okay. Will either work as effectively?
In the long run, yes.
Okay, very good. George in Mississippi, you're on with Dr. Norman Shealy and me. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm going to be off topic, but I'm kind of backed up on listening. I was wondering if you've heard anything from Miles in Europe about what's going on over there and how it pertains to the U.S.
Yes, I have. Miles calls me multiple times per week. As a matter of fact, he called me yesterday, and I asked him what his schedule was like and when he can come and join us. And he says that he'll be delighted to do so, and he's checking his calendar and his schedule to see when he can do that. So you'll get a chance to hear Miles again. We'll post it on our website, usapreparedness.com. And what I do is in the upper right-hand portion of the page, I list who the instructors are for the week, and it'll say this week's instructors Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so forth. So typically it'll be, for example, today it says Wednesday, Norm Shealy, and that means 2 hours. If it's a 1 hour instructor, we'll say hour number 1, this person, hour number 2, that other instructor. So that's how we do it. And Miles, we should have him within about 10 days.
Okay, and also I remember Mike Parsons talking about traveling through Tennessee, and he was saying that they had some kind of detectors at the state lines where they can tell if you have a large amount of cash with you. And
specifically 100s. Mm-hmm. Specifically, He mentioned hundreds because of the magnetic encoding stripe. And yes, he has said that to me on air and off air.
And would he know if there's any way to be able to not be detected, like wrapping it with aluminum foil or putting it in a box or anything?
George, it sounds like you are trying to avoid something that other people, meaning the other team, might consider potential criminal activity, having cash on your person. And I applaud you for what I believe is you want to have cash and you want to use cash, and it's none of their darn business what you do with that cash. So the answer is yes, you wrap it in aluminum foil so that there are no seams whatsoever. And I would wrap it with maybe 4 or 5 layers of aluminum foil if I were going to do that. And a number of people have been arrested and their cash has been confiscated, including a Ron Paul supporter who was at the Richmond airport many, many years ago, who was collecting donations at an event, and he had this little metal box and had cash in it, about $4,000, and he was detained at the airport. Like, where are you going with that cash, boy? Where'd you get that cash, boy? Obviously it's drug money, right, boy? I mean, that's the kind of treatment that this guy got. And fortunately, he had a cell phone at the time which could record it, and he recorded all this, and that's how he was released. But there are many instances where a farmer would hop into a rental truck, let's say go from Virginia down to Georgia to buy plants, rent a U-Haul or a similar Ryder truck or something like that, take it down there and load it up with plants, small plants, and then bring them back to the market in Virginia to sell them. And to buy the plants, he would use cash, and he might have $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 of cash, and then he would get stopped, and the cash would be confiscated as if it were drug money. And it was his job to prove that it wasn't drug money. And how do you do that? Because just about all cash has drug residue on it, right? So you're right. It's a serious, serious problem. But my response would be, if I were going to use cash, I would First of all, if you can avoid the hundreds, that'd be kind of nice. Okay. But wrap it in multiple layers of aluminum foil. Just my thoughts. I'm not trying to teach anybody how to do anything illegal. I think it's perfectly legal to use cash. I've used cash. I've bought tractors with cash. Why would I do that? Because the guy selling the tractor has no clue who I am. No clue whatsoever. So why would he turn over a tractor worth thousands of dollars to me for a check? Why would he do that? It'd be nuts in most circumstances. So, yeah. So when you use cash, the nice thing about using cash is the transaction is completed right then and there. It's over. You get the goods, he gets the cash. You may want to get a bill of sale or a receipt or something like that, like I do. But once you give him the cash and it's the correct amount, it's done. Period. There's nothing else to do. There's no credit card bill that comes in a month later that you have to settle up with. You're done with that transaction. That purchase is yours. That property is yours. The cash is his, and it's a great way to go.
Okay. Do you know if they have these sensors throughout the states, or is it just around Tennessee?
I'll tell you what I'll do. I will ask Mike Parsons to call in. Actually, I don't even have to ask him. Well, we can ask him right now. Mike, over the next couple of days, if you get a chance, would you please call in and let us know what you found out? Mike Parsons is a researcher. He's got a very, very high IQ. His IQ is so high that the whole county government is afraid of him. He's like him against the entire county, and it takes the entire county's government to deal with Mike Parsons. He's that smart. He really is. He's a good guy. So I've just asked him right now, Mike, if you want to give us a call, let us know what your thoughts are on these cash scanners. So George in Mississippi would like to know. Anything else, George? You have a medical question?
No, I'm good with the medical. I appreciate the information, and I'll be looking forward to hearing the answer.
Great. Hey, thanks so much, George. Let's see. Dr. Shealy, I was looking at the news, and there's a post on the internet that says, could high heels, this is what women wear when they want to look stylish, I guess, these very high heels, they're called stilettos, very high heels, could they be causing cancer because of the inflammation that they cause throughout the body? It's very difficult to stand up straight. It's difficult to breathe properly when when your body's all twisted because your feet aren't in a normal position. Your toes are all scrunched together. As a matter of fact, some people even have surgery on their toes so they'll fit in these ridiculously pointed stiletto heels because they're not made for comfort. They're made for sex appeal, I guess. Dr. Shealy, do you have any thoughts about how inflammation can cause cancer?
Well, everything that goes wrong in your body is a result of inflammation, ultimately death of a cell one way or another. There's no question that all cancer is associated with inflammatory problems, and it's a question, I suppose, of which kind of inflammation, how long it goes on, as to whether it causes a scar or some other kind of damage or cancer.
Okay, so would our advice from USA Prepares be you got to be crazy to wear these unnatural heels? How about wearing something a little more comfortable, something that might not cause inflammation? Is that what we're saying?
Absolutely. I think high heels are beyond stupid.
Okay. I remember my folks when they bought this old manor house that had these great floors, and they were pine from the 1840s. And they refinished the floors, and they sanded them into perfect condition, and they sealed them, and they really looked magnificent. Very, very wide planks, something that you'd never find today because we don't have trees that big anymore. Well, they would have guests over, and the ladies would wear high heels, and the floor looked like someone took a ball-peen hammer and spent a week just banging on the floor, boom, 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 from the result of these high heels. So the weight of these ladies who wore these high heels was condensed into a very, very small area. So their weight was so great in this tiny area that it would just put depressions in the floor. And I'm thinking, how much damage are they doing to themselves? Because those heels have no give whatsoever, none. So there's no shock absorbing in these ridiculous stiletto heels. So I'm in total agreement with you, Dr. Shealy, that these are nuts. So ladies, get rid of them. And, why damage your health? Dr. Shealy, I was reading an article about watching television. And a lot of people do watch television, and some people binge watch television. That means they'll just get their butts down on the sofa or their lazy boy or whatever it might be. So they get absolutely comfortable. They've got the remote in their hand, and they are good to go. They've got a cup holder on the side of their lazy boy. And all they have to do is, get up and go to the bathroom every once in a while. Other than that, they can do everything they need to do with the remote, and they can watch TV for hour upon hour upon hour. And what I read was this can kill you because it can accelerate your death because you can develop blood clots by being in this semi-comatose state, binge watching television. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's maybe slightly worse than watching television itself, but television itself, in my opinion, is toxic.
Yeah. Okay. So not only are we rotting our minds, but the lack of activity could cause blood clots and send you to your early demise. Now, Social Security would probably appreciate you doing that. They probably want to encourage it so they don't have to pay you what they owe you. Keep that in mind. So let's live longer and get what you deserve. We'll be right back.
Today, I became a biophoton woman. I put a tablespoon of the Andreas 5-seed oil in my morning's One World Way drink and was still happy and energized at 3 p.m. Normally, I feel tired and spacey at the end of the day, but today I felt energy and very clear. My friend at the farmer's market asked what I was on. She said my eyes looked bright and I had unusual energy for that time of afternoon. I told her there was a magical oil that enabled my body to absorb the sun's energy as if I were a plant. She said, I want some. A second One World Way shake with the oil when I got home took me to bedtime with that wonderful, abundant energy. I couldn't believe how much I got done and how great I felt. The combination of One World Way and 5-seed oil produced a significant health event in my life, the kind that makes you feel you've been given your life back with a bonus, and I'm 64.
5-seed oil in One World Way for your fantastic health. Call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Would you like to receive $250 to $1,000 cash per day? Go to richmoneyrich.com. No website, no selling, no explaining. Just take these simple 2 steps and go to richmoneyrich.com. You can be generating cash in the next 24 hours simply using the system. Good news is, it runs on 100% autopilot and you don't need any experience to get started. It's easy. Get your share of riches and go to richmoneyrich.com. That's richmoneyrich.com. Go now. Brought to you by the Conservative Investor. Current returns not indicative of future results.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viba Water Pump Kit from Viba Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viba Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99, filter not included. Get your Viba Water Pump Kit at viba-odp.com from Viba Outdoor Products.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Class, there's a wealth of information available during Wednesday's broadcast with Dr. Norman Shealy. So if you're listening to this broadcast and you listen to it delayed and you'd like to call in next Wednesday, I'm going to give you that number. You can call in and ask Dr. Shealy your medical questions. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. And if you'd like to take us along with you, with your telephone, 605-477-3249. That's our listen line, 605-477-3249. Dr. Shealy, are there any comments that you'd like to make during the remaining moments of this broadcast?
Everybody needs to think very carefully, follow the Be Prepared, USA Be Prepared concept every moment of every day, because the world is full of danger and is led by our government, among others. Other than that.
Okay. Very, very well put, Dr. Shealy. You know, I was reading an article, and it says that this father of two was rushed to the hospital. As a guy, 33 years old, and it's dailymail.co.uk. 33-year-old man was rushed to the hospital when his lips began to turn blue. His ears and nose turned black, and he passed out, and he was put into a coma. So he woke up from this coma. He was allowed to wake up, and he had blood poisoning. And the doctors, he woke up to both of his feet were amputated. One of his hands was amputated. And so, he goes in the hospital. Next thing you know, he's got one hand left. And it says that, of course, he almost died. And he had septicemia. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
A blood disease?
Yeah, an infection in the blood, yes.
And Dr. Shealy, do we have any idea how this kind of a thing could happen? I mean, what do we do to ourselves, or is it environmental, or what are your thoughts on how this may happen? And I mean, this is pretty dangerous stuff. All of a sudden, boom, you feel sick, you go to the hospital, and then you're missing some parts.
Well, unfortunately, septicemia can occur spontaneously depending upon how weak your immune system is. It's made worse with certain antibiotics, which make you susceptible to other kinds of bacterial infection. It's one of the many challenges in today's toxic world.
Okay, and that was one of the things I had on my list to talk about today, and that is, doctors, medical professionals have been prescribing antibiotics for decades now, and some of these antibiotics don't work as well as they used to. Some of them are ineffective, and we're running out of treatment options for some very, very serious diseases. I guess the question is, if we are on antibiotics and then ultimately we're off them, what do we do then to rebuild our immune system so we don't have to go back on antibiotics?
The most important thing is to take lots and lots and lots of probiotics and prebiotics. All the Greek yogurt you could possibly get into your body is the best.
Okay, we have it in our refrigerator at all times because you've recommended that, Dr. Shealy. Now, let me mention how I consume it. I don't consume it, a lot at one time. I spread it out throughout the day. Is one way preferred over the other?
I think it's better to take it in at least 3 doses through the day than in one all at one time. On the other hand, because of my schedule, I often take a cup early in the morning.
Mm-hmm. And when you consume yogurt and you say Greek yogurt, that's much heavier than a traditional yogurt. It weighs more per volume, correct?
Well, it's got more protein and a greater variety of probiotics.
Okay.
And you want it without sugar and without fruit, because the fruit's always sugar.
Okay, without sugar, without fruit. Would it be okay to have vanilla flavored Greek yogurt or absolutely plain?
They'll add sugar with the vanilla.
Okay, plain Greek yogurt class with honey if you choose. If you choose, yeah. NormShealy.com class, NORM as in Norman, Shealy, SHEALY.com. And if you're interested in learning about health, there's plenty of resources available right there on the website, Optimal Health. Dr. Norm Shealy, medical doctor, is with us on Wednesdays. Dr. Shealy, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us here on the broadcast. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
There are a lot of things in life that are hard to swallow, but your minerals don't have to be one of them. CRSupplements.com liquid minerals make that easy. The same size that a plant hair root absorbs, CRSupplements.com liquid minerals are easy for your body to use, and they are easy for you to add to daily liquid intake. Made in the USA and kosher certified, we offer 21 different minerals that may be lost in food processing or don't exist in foods grown on depleted soils. Choose easy. Get easy to swallow liquid minerals from CRSupplements.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Result.